Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're unpacking a really fascinating phenomenon about global beauty standards. Specifically, we're looking at a kind of beauty paradox happening right now over in Japan.
Okay, let's dive into this because it's a completely perplexing paradox. According to some really interesting recent insights into what life is actually like in Japan for expats and travelers, there's this wildly common shared experience. Get this, a lot of people who are considered, conventionally really good looking in their home countries, they arrive in Japan and suddenly feel the exact opposite. They feel totally unattractive. So, why on earth does this happen? How can someone's physical appearance stay literally exactly the same, yet their perceived attractiveness just plummets the second they cross a border?
Well, to really understand this, we need to peel back the onion a bit. The source material outlines three layers of the disconnect: the physical ideal, strict grooming standards, and the unseen core. Let's break them down. Let's move to and see how this builds. We're starting right at the surface with layer one, the physical ideal. You see, every culture has its own baseline of what's considered aesthetically pleasing, right? In Japan, the foundational criteria heavily favor smaller builds, softer facial features, and just an overall delicate appearance. That's essentially the visual blueprint for attractiveness there. So think about it. If a foreigner arrives with a larger, broader frame, or maybe they have those highly pronounced sharp features, the kind of traits that might literally make them a supermodel back home, they instantly fall completely outside of this very specific, delicate Japanese aesthetic. And man, here is where that first wave of frustration really hits. Because, as the source wisely points out, while you can tweak some things about how you look, natural traits simply cannot be changed. You can't just magically alter your bone structure, your height, or the natural build of your body. When you're suddenly confronted with a cultural standard that demands a physical frame you literally do not possess, it is incredibly easy to internalize that and start feeling unattractive. It's really just a genetic mismatch with a local ideal, not a flaw with you. But, the differences don't just stop at genetics. Let's peel back layer two, strict grooming standards. And this brilliantly illustrates how deep this goes. This is where culture dictates not just the shape of your body, but how that body has to be presented and polished for polite society. Take body hair as our prime example here. The source highlights that what's considered just completely normal, everyday body hair in other countries is judged very differently in Japan. A relaxed, whatever approach to personal maintenance that might be totally ignored in a Western context can suddenly make you stick out like a sore thumb. Failing to adhere to this unspoken rule immediately marks you as falling short of their local standard. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is where the source introduces a massive paradigm shift. It explicitly states, but the biggest reason is not appearance. I mean, let that sink in for a second. Despite all those strict physical and grooming differences we literally just covered, the primary reason foreigners feel unattractive actually has absolutely nothing to do with what they see in the mirror. Which brings us right to our final and definitely the deepest layer of the onion. Layer 3, the unseen core. Down here, the whole concept of beauty completely transcends the physical body. It's suddenly not about your hair, your makeup, or your physique anymore. To be truly attractive in Japan actually means embodying behavioral beauty. This means speaking softly, acting modest, and, this is absolutely crucial, not standing out too much. Just think about how much that contrasts with cultures that actually celebrate being loud or fiercely projecting your own individuality. In Japan, beauty is harmonious. It's quiet. It's the ability to blend in beautifully rather than shining abrasively. So, if you're just a naturally boisterous, outgoing foreigner, your very personality might be clashing with their fundamental concept of beauty. Which naturally leads us to this vital definition, fitting in. Because for so many foreigners, the absolute hardest part of this entire experience isn't trying to change how they look. Actually, it's the daily, sometimes exhausting struggle of fitting into these deeply ingrained social expectations. True attractiveness in this context is a holistic cultural reality. It's a social metric, not a physical one. It's all about reading the room, honoring modesty, and prioritizing the harmony of the group way over the expression of the self. So the crucial point is this. When we travel, or honestly, even when we evaluate our own self-worth in any new environment, are we measuring ourselves against a physical mirror or a cultural one? This whole journey through Japan's beauty paradox challenges us to ask ourselves, is the hardest part really how you look, or is it how you fit in? It's a seriously fascinating lens through which to view not just Japanese culture, but the hidden rules of beauty everywhere. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I'll see you next time.